Hey there, Queen. If you've ever thought you met a great guy, you may have been excited to take his every call, willing to change or rearrange your schedule, or even open to shift your personality to be more spontaneous, though you are a more structured person, creating a lack of scarcity. If so, understand, Queen, that I've been there. Glad to hear from the guy that I was trying to get to know, open to connect with him, and willing to try new and different things just to get to know him, to show that I too can take interest in what interests him. But here's the thing, each instance diminished my value in his eyes. So let's talk the impact of scarcity, because it is an asset that allows you to build healthy, strong relationship and engage with relational intelligence. And remember that relational intelligence means you recognize, understand, and manage all the different dynamics of your relationships in a way that serves you and the others involved at the highest level. So here's the problem with a lack of scarcity in a relationship. And today I'm going to be focused more so on personal relationships, more so in the dating aspect. But this applies in the professional world as well. So the availability effect is created when there's a lack of scarcity. If you don't know what that means, don't worry, because it's a coin that I termed. And if you have heard of it, somebody else could have had the same thought, but they may have a different definition for it. So I'm going to share with you what I mean when I say a lack of scarcity creates the availability effect. Here it is. The availability effect is when your time is seen up for grab because you choose or refuse to exercise your right to say no, creating a mindset in others that they can have access to you whenever they please for whatever they please. So please recognize that the availability effect is something that hurts you, because the availability effect creates availability. Again, meaning that if you're available all the time, then I can call you anytime, I can see you anytime, and I can be with you anytime. And that creates the following problems. And I'm going to share with you 3 of the common problems it creates. There are more, but these 3 are the most common. First of all, it creates trainability. So availability creates trainability, meaning this. Your day has little to no movement, meaning your day has little movement or no peace because it revolves around this other person, this guy that you are so happy and over the moon about. But recognize, just because he walked into your life doesn't mean that he has to become your whole life. You get to choose where and when you see him and how to best incorporate him into your day so that your day is not centered and focused on him. Secondly, the availability effect creates playability. And when you hear the word playability, you may think about playing a game. Well, if a guy is able to, he won't just play a game, he will play with your time. Yes, he will. Because at the point that the availability effect shows him that he can play with your time, you show up in a way that says to him that you are open to whatever he wants to do. So your time can be completely monopolized or your day completely disrupted and unproductive because of what he does or what he says. Again, you are your own CEO. You are the CEO of Me Inc. So you do have the power to determine whether or not you're going to shift and rearrange your day to include him in it. especially if you already had a set agenda and things going on that you really needed to get done at a specific time. Remember, relationship calls for compromise, and it doesn't just call for compromise on your behalf, it also calls for compromise on his behalf. And anyone who sees you as a priority and sees your time as precious should be able to recognize that everything about your life doesn't center and revolve around them. But if you allow a God to show up and command that he monopolizes your time, then it's possible, depending on who he is, that he will do just that. The third thing that the availability effect does is it creates vulnerability, meaning your words and your actions become tools he uses to manipulate you, and in turn you unknowingly operate and move from a place of lack and self-sabotage just to be connected to someone else. So please understand that there is a difference between lifing and things coming up versus you constantly making concessions and having to shift your day, shift your agenda, shift your plans because something is going on with him and you want and need to be connected to him. So while it's honorable to want the relationship with him to work, he should also be showing you with his words and his actions that he too is willing to make the relationship work. And if he isn't, then again, you have the power to say whether or not this man stays in your life or whether or not it's time for him to go on ahead and go on about his business. So do I have a solution or a recommendation? Yes. Show up with confidence. And you may be saying, but how? Here's how. Recognize that it's up to you and it's on you to take accountability, to show up rare. Not because you're playing games or trying to prove a point to him, but because you are rare. So that means you must tap into self-awareness. Meaning you must know who you are, whose you are, and what you are. Because there's power in your presence, in your plan, and in your principles. The question becomes, are you living them out in such a way that they are on full display? Now, you may be saying, that seems like a lot. That seems like it's going to require some work. And I'm not going to lie to you. It is going to require some work. But the thing about it is, relationships require work. And so, when you are self-aware, then you can be yourself and bring your full self into that relationship without losing yourself. If you need or you would like one-on-one assistance to equip you in this area, you can work with, by all means. Schedule a call. Let's jump on the phone. And let's work through this so that you can master being more self-aware so that you are able to show up in your relationship with whoever he is in such a way that he knows that you're not going to fall prey to the availability effect. When we do that, you and I work together to customize solutions for you, to equip you to get from where you are to where you desire to be. Now, for those of you who may not be quite ready for that, I have some questions for you to do some self-reflection on your own. Here they are. Is your availability empty? Meaning, do you show up, but are you showing up in such a way that there's nothing there? Meaning no substance there, because you're trying to fit the mold of what he wants or what you think he wants you to be. Do you desire inconsistent approval. Meaning, when you speak to him, when you interact with him, when you're in his presence, are you putting on a show? Do you find yourself performing even though this guy is not showing up for you in a consistent way that says he values who you are and what you bring to the table of his life? Are you giving access when you need to revoke entry? Here's the deal. Sometimes we can be so excited for the possibility of where a relationship can go that we can give too much too fast. And when that happens, then more likely than not, we find ourselves in a position where we need to pull back, but we don't. And although there may be tons of red flags that says this guy is not a best fit, we just keep going in the same direction. And we're going strong, but we're wrong. And if that is the case, then there are times where we need to really sit down and think, is it time for me to revoke some of the privileges that I have just so freely given? Do you want a man to complete you or compliment you? Here's the deal. I hear often people say, this is my better half. And while it can sound cute, the reality is you are a whole person. At least when you're going into a relationship, you should be a whole person. So I want you to rethink that statement, because when you go into a relationship and you're in a relationship, half of a person is not who you should be. You should be able to bring your whole self into that relationship, not looking for somebody else to complete you as though you're half empty. Because if you feel as though you need someone to complete you versus you desire somebody who can complement who you already are and what you already have, then you're going into that relationship at a deficit. And typically that won't end well. It's going to create some codependency among some other issues. Are you a journey or a quick thrill? Here's the thing. Often when we watch horror movies, if you like horror movies, you can watch them for the thrill of it. If you go to an amusement park, there may be certain rides that you may get on that are considered scary or risky. It's the thrill of it that often makes people want to get on those. For instance, when Six Flags was up and running where I am, I wanted to get on a dungeon drop. It seemed like it would be quite a crazy experience, but I wanted to be able to see all over the city. So I got on there, and sure enough, I had a good time. But while I had a good time, it was not something that was long-lived. It was a quick thrill. Do you show up like that in your relationships? If so, recognize that while the relationship may start hot and heavy, it can often fizzle out very quickly, because whoever you're talking to could easily lose interest because you're pouring out so much, and this person, whoever he is, hasn't even earned some of the things you're sharing with him yet. And yes, there are some things about you that need to be earned. I mean, basic information, that's fine to share with him up front. But are you pouring your heart and soul out to someone who hasn't shown you that he has the capacity to handle your heart and soul, and doesn't appreciate and respect you for the woman that you are? Do you build anticipation or do you show desperation? And I know some of you may be saying, ooh, all right, they're kind of spicy. But here's the thing. While I don't come to offend, I'm not going to pretend. There are times that the phrase now is, you doing too much. And so I invite you to consider, am I doing too much to please this man? Am I doing too much to show him that I'm serious about him? Am I doing too much to keep him engaged in wanting to build and have a relationship with me? Because if you are, then more likely than not, you are not building anticipation, excitement, the chance to explore and to get to know you. You are showing desperation. And typically, desperation repels. So it typically brings the opposite of what you want. And lastly, does your philosophy shift? Because it matters. And it matters because you are your own person. Again, you are a whole person. But if your philosophy can shift and change and bend and crack just because of something he says or over something he does, then you are not showing up at that point as a whole person who can stand and be and think on her own. So please hear me, Queen. You are not his property to own. You are the king's daughter, created with value. Own that with confidence, knowing that because you are created in the image of God, that makes you royalty. That way, your spirit, your stride, and your speech show intentionality and uncommonality. And your presence shows you're not just phenomenal, but a rare and unforgettable find. Able to inspire honorable pursuit without dispute or being mute. You have the power to attract the best and command respect. And still, please understand, if you are easily moved or bothered, then he knows he can rattle you and rock you and sift you and shift you whenever he pleases. And if he knows you crave his attention and his approval, he knows your emotions and your thoughts can be treated as though they are his to own. And that's why scarcity matters. That's the cost of the availability effect. Still, you have the power to not give him that power. And that's why scarcity matters. When you show up rare, your presence commands his attention and the room before you speak. And that positions you to preserve your peace and be poised in your power. As always, I'm Coach Sam telling you that 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours, you can change your life. So go ahead and do something life-changing now.